is now the 7's o'clockish. O'clockiums, yes.
Is it copium time?
It's copium time, gentlemen.
It's always copium time on the Sneaky Devil podcast.
Whoopsies. Speaking of copium,
Cope with these drugs, hey!
cope these nuts. Heyo!
No.
I'm gonna go grab some mixed drink materials.
Excellent. I already have mine ready. So
more hard water words from Sneaky.
Those are eternal, unavoidable.
I mean, they could be avoided, but he chooses not to.
I mean, they could be avoided if you leave the server, break contact with Sneaky forever.
Alrighty, gentlemen! Ready?
I mean, I could do mankind a favor and remove Sneaky for eternity. And if we're lucky, he'll get me too.
True.
It's Fanfiction updated 9005 time. I'm your host, SneakyDevil. Where the fuck's my
God,
vodka?
can we go back to 9004?
No.
Just because then it would mean we wasted less of our lives on this horse shit.
That's not how it works.
Time travel has not yet been invented. Good luck.
So, I'm picking up some more vodka mixer, right? And this old lady comes into the shop. And she's walking around, she's really lost, and she turns to the store clerk, and she's like, I'm looking for the Crazy Train vodka? I'm like, oh, I know that one, I drink that all the time, it's right here, ma'am. I just hold it out there, she's like, oh, thank you.
Ignoring the fact that you just know where the booze is.
Well, of course, it's a fucking alcohol shop. I'm in there to buy alcohol.
The specific one, I mean, Sneaky.
Oh, yeah. Well, clearly it's because I bought it before.
when you know the store's inventory better than the clerk's.
The vodka inventory. The vodka inventory. There's a difference.
True. I mean, that is the sign
in the amount of liver damage you receive?
I mean, it's clearly the sign of you having a problem. Luckily for you, alcohol is a solution.
Actually, water's a solution, but I think alcohol also counts as one.
Chemically,
depends on how much water you put in it.
Maybe.
True.
Anyway, so, I went to the Ruby crossover section, and this is what I found.
Oh,
Pain
God.
and suffering upon
Yeah,
us all.
I got to the third page before I was just like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this.
I'm amazed you even made it to the third page.
Well,
I'd have gotten to page 2 and been like, nope.
I was desperate, okay, man? I was so fucking desperate for a single good Ruby cross to occupy my time. That's why I went to the third page.
Come on,
Basically
Sneaky.
impossible.
What?
You know better.
I found one.
I don't believe you.
That's okay, because I didn't. I found one that occupied my time, but ultimately I closed it and stopped reading it because the author was like, what if the Lone Wanderer from Fallout 3, like, post every quest and all DLCs, ended up using the Spaceship Zeta and ended up in Ruby? I'm like, okay, I mean, sounds like he's just gonna murder a lot of shit, and he's got a spaceship, so sure, let's go. And it was alright. But then the author got really up their own ass about trying to show off how traumatized and how much PTSD their OC had. And like half of the chapter, with every single chapter, was like just this giant PTSD trip. And then the other half of the chapter was the like over time it went from the character doing things to like the character doing some things, but mostly just quoting things from the Bible as he kills people.
That's... Author, you're doing it wrong. You're supposed to be screaming Deus Vult first.
But yeah, also like the author was like, "Oh, he doesn't have the whole inventory thing." And so he's got dog meat with a giant duffel bag on its back carrying all of his guns and ammo. But he's like,
Okay, but I mean that's fine.
It's fine, but it's a duffel bag, so it's a limited size. And he's carrying every single unique named gun in the game.
I see.
Space.
And thousands of rounds of ammo for each.
Hmm.
And I'm just like,
Interesting.
why not? If you like he had so much ammo, the author was basically in one of the author notes was just like, yeah, don't worry about him ever running out of ammo. And I'm just like, okay, so if he doesn't have to worry about running out of ammo, why isn't he just using the laser guns to kill the Grim? Because he specifically said the laser guns and the plasma guns work better on Grim, but for some reason he keeps using all of the non-energy weapons first. And then once he's getting his shit rocked by the Grim, he's like, oh, I gotta get my energy weapon out now, and then he takes out his energy weapon and kills all the Grim. And it's just like, so, like, half of the battle is literally just him getting battered around until he uses the energy gun, and then he wins the fight. And every single fight is like that.
Hitting the word count.
Riveting.
Yeah, and so I was just like, I'm done. I can't read more of this.
Like, that's the kind of thing where it's like, well, what the shit? Like, first of all, there's no reason the energy weapons should be effective on them.
No,
More
what do you
effective
mean?
on them.
Well,
Well, okay, I mean, okay. Yes, the energy
plasma
weapons would theoretically be better against unprotected flesh.
No,
But unless
the
he's
plasma
trying to have that.
would work pretty well because of just the high energy content of the weapon.
Yeah.
I don't know how well lasers would work because the reason why lasers would be effective against someone is because of the amount of pinpoint damage it would do to flesh. And I mean, theoretically, I guess you could like score wires and you know circuit boards and shit inside a robot or something, but more flesh, it would be very effective.
Well, because part of the reason a laser will do as much damage as it does is because it's going to violently combust the water, dependent on how much of the flesh that it hits and a couple other things,
but
right?
that's my point though, is that like Grim don't have water inside them to combust, and we don't really even know the composition.
I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah. So but it's like plasma is literally just kinetic force mixed with heat, and that would just melt things, period. So if we're talking about raw amount of joules being inputted into an object, plasma is clearly superior to lasers and you know kinetic weaponry. But yeah, it's just like it was such a fucking boring story, especially because the plot slowed down even more because the author then halved the amount of time, because he didn't have the time that the character was having his PTSD nightmares, but he halved the amount of time where the plot actually progressed, so he could have Raven's story where she was running away to some island because the Wanderer scared her, and Juniper's story and Yang's story. So half of the chapter is him having a PTSD nightmare that has no relevancy to the plot. And the other half of the chapter is a mixed bag of him shouting quotes about God to Raven, to Yang's story, to Ruby's story, to John's story. And it's just like, so no plot is progressing at all. For like a solid 6 or so chapters, he was in the same fucking town because so many of the chapters' time was spent on characters that weren't the main character. It was just like fucking mind-dulling. And the author had the gall to be like, I want to write a Fallout Ruby story because I saw so many Fallout Ruby stories in this section that I really loved, but all of them started to focus on other characters besides the main character, and I want to write a story that focuses on the main character. And then within 3 fucking chapters, that's exactly what he was complaining about. Then I found another story that let's see if you guys can call this one out before I finish the end of it. So it's an isekai into Ruby. It's a multi-crossover with a gamer system.
Zero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got
That's all you need to say.
I got to chapter 2, and at the end of the author's note of chapter 2, he was like, I was like, I've read to chapter 2, because the gamer system is garbage. Like, it's absolute fucking trash. It has, like, 29 different stats, and they're all just arbitrarily being pumped and raised with various, you know, status buffs and shit that, as far as I can tell, have no relevance to anything in the story.
Oh god, no.
You know, he's
And
given
they just hand out like awards and items and buffs like they're fucking.
Oh yeah,
candy.
no, just because he's
You've looked at someone. Increase your
observe level.
Looking
Yeah.
at people's skill.
Yeah, yeah. No, literally, it was always he's a prototype tester for the new gamer multi-cross system, and so you're just giving him rewards left and right. He got 8 levels for looking at things. Like, not 8 levels in looking at things. He got 8 levels for looking at things.
Wait, which one was this again?
I just closed it.
Yeah, because sounds familiar, but I don't remember specifically.
Just that whole kind of thing is just. It's like, why?
Yeah.
Why even bother at this point?
History. Let's see. Gamer's Grand Journey. I think this is one. Yeah. Gamer's Grand Journey.
Right.
My first ever gamer story. Occasional lemons.
Yeah.
Gray overpowered self-insert.
Very
And
cool.
like,
Am I involved?
because you are. And like the
Fuck this
gamer
author.
system is like super snarky. And, like, it's just got a really shit attitude, and the main character's got a really shit attitude as well. He's a fucking whiny little bag of shit, and, like, the only reason why he does anything is because the gamer system's like, hey, here's a reward, go do a thing, hey, here's a reward, go do a thing, hey, here's another big reward, go do a thing. And it's just so fucking lame. It's just so fucking lame. But yeah, at the end, I was like, okay, what's this author's note about? And he's like, oh, yeah, guys, thanks to everyone on Dark Wolf Shiro's server. I'm like, oh, well, that explains why this shitty gamer system is so fucking garbage.
Yeah.
Because, like, say what you will about Shiro.
Yeah. At
But-
least he can, like, pump out writing.
Well, not only that, he's come to understand how much his earlier stories sucked massive dick.
Yep.
Except all of his fans still love his earlier stories, and they don't understand why he doesn't like them.
Guys, this is bad.
And so, like, his fan support center for fanfics and shit, where everyone tells everyone else their totally awesome new idea that's just a complete ripoff of Shiro's older gamer system. They don't understand why all of the garbage they're trying to shove into their story is just boring and dumb and doesn't work.
Basically, he grew up and they didn't.
Yeah, more or less, yeah.
Yep. A bit, at least.
Yeah. Let's see what we got here. We got an Arkham Asylum Ruby crossover. We're just gonna speed run these, you know? We're just gonna speed run them all.
Okay.
We got Batman Remnant Asylum by the Devil Dragon Stand Knight.
Already off to a
Name.
riveting start.
Yeah. Can we get that bingo card?
Yeah, it's Alright, there in the pins.
It's pinned somewhere.
Yeah, 9k.
Oh god.
I'll just repost it.
Yeah, no, it's right here.
Here you go. Have fun.
All right, so we already got probably shit author and faves. They said they like Shiro stories. We got an overly big plot plus hiatus. No hiatus yet. Oh, we got horny on main.
Chapter 1. So
Let's see. Do we have a horny on main? Yes, we have a horny on
wait.
main.
Yo, Sneaky.
It's gone, boys!
It just disappeared. Yeah.
Bro!
Literally, I just clicked the link.
Did the story just disappear?
The
It got taken
story
down.
disappeared!
They heard you
Beautiful.
coming.
on the show.
Live
That's amazing.
deletion.
They heard you coming,
impressive.
Sneaky.
They did. They felt it in their gut. Alright, so let's go with this one then. Kratos and Ruby. Because this is gonna be a good story, right, fellas?
Well, I mean, Sneaky, the speedrun got off to a good start.
I know, we already knocked one author down.
Yep. That is shared authors. I'm gonna try to speedrun the fucking bingo card today.
Yeah. Kratos and Ruby by Amirez. What would happen to World of Ruby when God of War happened to transport there? Well, let's find out, shall we? It's my first story I decided to make for fun because I want to make fan fiction. Kratos times Glinda. 2,000 word chapters, 26 chapters, 34 reviews, 74 favorites, 79 follows.
Okay, well, I think we've got shit author in favs already.
No. Nice idea, bad execution. And the entire review section is so good, so good, so good, so good.
Yeah.
Bro, what the
Yup.
fuck? I know there's a ship name for Ruby and Roman, but no one would ever ship them together. That takes balls to do.
What?
Ooh.
This person is clearly not familiar with their chosen fandom.
The degeneracy inherent.
I'm sorry, Roman Torchwick. He is
Early 30s by the time Volume 1 occurs.
He is literally twice Ruby's age.
Yes.
He is literally twice Ruby's age. My dude! Hello, police!
CPS, yes.
Whew.
Yeah, this
I
is
don't
also
think
the favorite thing you
Kratos
argued me.
is a guy who curses.
Sorry, what?
I mean,
This reviewer right here. I don't think Kratos is the kind of guy who says curse words. Kratos.
He's definitely thrown out probably a few bastards at least.
He's
But
thrown out. I
I-
mean, listen, he's definitely thrown out bastards.
Yeah, but I don't know that he's ever actually cursed beyond that though. But I'm not familiar with those games. So.
I'm not familiar with those games either, but considering
listen,
that Kratos is the sort of person who will rip a god's soul out and skull fuck them to death if he could, I don't think you really have to worry about him cursing too much.
Yeah, he just gets to killing rather than swearing.
yep. Alright, well, Sneaky, I'm
Yeah,
about to
that's-
hit the free space.
That's fair. Why waste energy on yelling words when you can use it on killing even harder?
Yeah, I am drinking right now, so you guys get the alcoholism free space.
Yep, same.
let's see, sentences as paragraphs. Well, let's get into the story then. What the fuck is this review? I can't wait for Kratos to destroy John over his lack of skill. What the fuck is this? Kratos calling someone a bitch is out of character. He didn't swear in the games. Ozpin calling Glinda a good bitch is also out of character. What the fuck?
Oh no. The Ruby writer wrote the character out of character. Oh no.
Okay, so, let's see what we got here. Author knows nothing about the topic. Well, probably. Cringy author profile. Do we have cringy author we have a blank author profile.
Yeah. So, unfortunately not yet.
Unfortunately not yet, no. It's a low amount of follow, faves, and reviews, but it is in the God of War section, so that might get a pass.
Yeah. You can cross off top left, by the way. He favorited Yagami Niguin.
Oh, of course, yes.
So, yeah.
I have never tried making something like this before, so I'll try my best to keep it interesting. Any help or criticism would be appreciated. So the story will start at the end of God of War 3, when Kratos is about to impale himself, and if you want the full context, and if you didn't know already, I suggest you watch a YouTube video. For now, I think my upload schedule will be a chapter every 4 days. Well, let's see if he followed through with that. Yes, he did.
Yep. More or less.
Fair enough, author. Fair enough. Third person.
I am just wondering, who would be reading this without the context for, Kratos stabbing himself?
You would be surprised.
Yeah.
The power you took from the box is mine. From it you gain the strength that Zeus could never destroy. A strength great enough to overcome fear. Locked deep inside you, Kratos, is hope. Athena says as Kratos looks at one of his hands with burning blue flame coming off it. It has remained buried, trapped by your guilt and failures of the past. When you killed Zeus, you must have allowed something to awaken it. What was it, Kratos? She asked calmly. Hope is what makes us strong. It is why we are here. It is why we fight when all else is lost. A memory of Pandora played in Kratos' head. What was it, Kratos? Athena asked, slightly more demanding. Also, by the way, there's no grammar here. The only grammar going on here is periods. Commas don't exist.
Oh no.
Yes.
Yeah.
And even some periods don't exist either.
Of course.
Yeah, this author is not aware of what a comma is supposed to do in dialogue. Kratos, all I remember is what I lost, Kratos says, walking past Athena, overlooking the lands that were once beautiful and sight to behold, now plunged into chaos with no sunlight in sight. That is why you should give me power. I understand its true meaning and where it belongs. I trust you do the right thing, Kratos, Athena says, while gently placing her hand on the back of Kratos' shoulder.
I understand power and where it belongs, says the god-murdering, power-stealing hobo.
No, this is Athena. Athena says this.
Oh, yes.
So even worse.
Yes. Just remember, Athena was the patron god of Athens, and Athens was a bunch of fucking pedophiles.
I mean, they were also assholes for a number of other reasons.
Yeah, but I feel like the pedophilia part's a little bit more important.
I mean, I feel like causing a bunch of needless wars, blaming it on everyone else, like, that's on the same level.
That's kind of just humanity in a nutshell, though. You shouldn't, he says. shrugging her hand off and crouching down to look at Sword of Olympus. You owe me this, Kratos, Athena says, with anger not being able to hold it in. I owe you nothing, Kratos shouted back with anger of his own, standing with sword in hand. I made you a god. I sheltered you from the wrath of Olympus. I delivered your revenge on Zeus, Athena says. It's over, Athena, Kratos says in slightly calmer tone. You would dare strike me down again? Athena says, astounded by his actions. You would dare strike me down a second time?
It's over, Athena! I have the high ground!
My vengeance ends now! Kratos says, sword up, letting his power run through it as blade now surrounded by blue flames. He swung blade at Athena and she stepped back, but for better or worse, she was not the target. Kratos held the weapon by the blade before impaling himself, gushing out everywhere. You fool, what have you done? Athena says, even more angered. Kratos was not able to say anything. No shit, you don't say.
Yeah.
As he went up in air and white pillar surrounded by blue flame shot out into sky before dispersing in shockwave, spreading out the power. No, that was meant for me. They will not know what to do with it, she exclaimed. Kratos didn't say anything as he dropped to the floor, dying. You disappoint me, Spartan. Well, he's a Spartan. He should be disappointing you.
It's kind of a societal and religious obligation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a reason that there's an Athens.
There was a war over that.
Several.
Yeah.
Many more.
There's a couple.
Quite a few.
One might say a number.
Yeah, about a few.
Kratos
number
only
in-
grunted and smirk.
The low hundreds, perhaps, Sneaky?
Definitely under 100 wars, yes. Atena had enough as she ripped blade out of Kratos, leaving gaping hole in where it once was. She turned around and floated away, leaving Kratos to bleed out and die in view of dark, grim sky. Kratos' point of view, I'm surrounded by darkness. And then he calls out to Athena, blah, 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 and then he beats up a bunch of Grimm, and then he sees a village, and then the people are like, oh, we're gonna kill you if you don't answer us. And he's like, oh yeah, sorry man, I was just out in the forest and stuff, I'm lost now, can I like leave here? And they're like, ugh, we'll only let you live here if you have money on you. And he's like, oh, I don't have money. And they're like, oh, fine. If you go fight the Grimm for us, we'll let you live here for a day.
A fucking day?
And Kratos is like, oh, the creatures with the bone masks? Yeah, sure, easy peasy, alright, deal. Blah, blah, blah. A young boy comes up to him. He starts calling him boy over and over again. Boy! Boy!
Boy!
Boy!
Boy! Boy!
Boy!
Boy! He slowly evolves from boy to oi,
Oi!
and he becomes butcher from
Indeed.
the boys.
Oy vey.
Am I to assume you're the one protecting our village for the time being? Blah, 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 blah. What do you want to know about me, boy? Tell me about your stories about your adventures. So I told them stories about my adventures. Go back home, boy! It is time I guard this place! How do you feel about that?
Feel a distinct sense of personal hatred.
Exceeding violence.
Yeah, and then he goes to Vale. So, as you can see, this is clearly a very riveting story. Oh, right. That just reminds me of the other part about that Ramiru fic that I was bitching about earlier. So the author in chapter 2 has a 2-year time skip after the character gets all these powers. He's like 2-year time skip. He went on some adventures. He got a hold of all of his powers. Now he's going to go join the school in Vale and be in the same year as Ruby and be part of Team Ruby.
Rados?
Oh no, Ramiru, the
Oh.
author OC version. Yeah. It's just a 2-year time skip where adventures happened and the character went off and did things. Don't worry about it. So obviously I had to include this story in the lineup. So this is a Sword Art Online
Oh no.
Ruby crossover. How does this make you feel, Max?
It's probably gonna be bad.
Hey, don't worry, it gets worse. So this is called Sinon's Adventures in Ruby by The Lonely Lolly.
Hey,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is
Just
gonna
like
be
that
bad.
name.
'Cause
Hang up the fuck. What the
I'm
hell?
pretty sure we've run into this author before.
No.
That's a really distinctive name.
No. Nope.
Lonely Lolly 14.
Yeah.
Oh,
They have a Wattpad.
oh no.
They are Windchan on Wattpad. Yeah.
Unfortunate.
Pretty
So,
niche.
we have Sinon's Adventures in Ruby. A pilot of an A-10 Warthog is transported into Ruby into Sinon's body. Watch as he, now a she, stumbles around Remnant. That's a
What's
17.
the
Mhm.
point then?
Fuck you.
It's not Shinon though.
Yes, but fuck you. But you see, now we can have some girl-on-girl action while the main character also gets a harem.
Also, funny Bert plane.
Big brain. So yeah, this is 17 chapters with surprisingly 70,000 words, which puts that at like what? 5K words per chapter?
Well, a bit less.
Yeah, a bit less. That's pretty good. 25 reviews and 100 favorites. So honestly, fairly impressive, all things considered. However, it is only 17 chapters since November of 21. So, I mean, we are kind of scooting along now. So, I mean, I guess that's a good update, right? I suppose. Their next story is a Ruby Girls Frontline story called Oversight.
Not that fucking garbage game.
Yes. Oversights lead to a different kind of wasteland. UMP-45 leads Task Force 404 into large Sangvis-occupied building, under orders from Griffin to gather sensitive information. But Sangvis knows, and 404 is ambushed. G11 is quickly crippled. UMP-45 makes a sacrifice. She orders 404 to leave her to fend off Sangvis in the hopes of saving her family. Death should have taken her, but instead she wakes up in Atlas. The main characters of this story will be UMP-45, Blake Belladonna, Ironwood, Crow, and the Aesops.
Bro.
Is it girl or girl action if one of them has a mind of, wait, you won't read this? I did read it.
Hmm.
And I have to say, Underplayed, that's very transphobic of you.
True.
I hate my luck M200 style. A Transformers Girls Frontline crossover. What?
Pain.
I died. It gets worse. Unfortunate, really. I'm not sure what's worse. The fact that a fictional god told me They're clearly not fictional then, are they? If you die and you wake up and it's like fucking, I don't know, who we got for an afterlife? Like, you wake up in the Rugonkai, or whatever the fuck you pronounce it for Bleach, right? You wake up there and you're like, these fictional death gods are telling me I'm dead. It's like, well, they're not very fictional now, are they? Since you fucking woke up there.
True.
Be real? You're fictional. Standing here, aren't I?
To be fair, they're still fictional if you're in a mental asylum.
Take
You know,
your meds.
honestly, that was the worst part about Darkness 2. Where they were like, oh yeah, the entire Darkness story was actually just a mental patient having an insanity trip. And the angel / his girlfriend that was trying to save him was actually just a nurse at the insane asylum.
Yeah, that was stupid.
But then if you, like, did certain actions in the real world and the insane asylum world, the real end that you find out is that you're not actually part of the insane asylum. That was a trick played on you by the angel. And it's just like, what?
Hmm.
You could just
Sure,
trip
man.
on mushrooms to the point where you see gods. Well, you can't really trip on mushrooms if you're dead.
I mean, have you tried?
Yes.
I mean, I suppose one could trip so hard on mushrooms that they died.
True.
Well, according to science, the same chemicals in psychedelic mushrooms is actually a chemical similar to, or is the chemical that our brains actually hyperdose us with when we die.
Huh.
Yeah. So technically speaking, we do actually trip mad balls when we die. So
Excellent.
that's also why a lot of people like see the light at the end of the tunnel, and like, oh, they visited heaven, but then they get, their heart gets restarted, and they're like, oh, I talked to God and shit. And it's like, yeah, it's because you were tripping massive balls. Like, your brain was doped up with so much psychedelic that you don't even know what pain is. And I have to say, I really appreciate the body going out of its way to evolve dying with like a one final high. Just like, hey, look, man, you're about to die, so it doesn't even matter anymore. Have the best drug of your life.
I'm about to get you so fucking high.
Anyway, a fictional god tells me I have to end an A fictional god telling me I have to end a old as time war. Or that I'm now a T-doll, whatever that is. This is a original character self-insert isekai story. So a T-doll is basically a robot.
Yeah,
It
pretty
stands
much.
for titty doll.
Effectively.
Tactical though. Yeah, close enough.
Want to
Like,
become
listen,
famous.
you can't convince me that it
I
doesn't.
appreciate you
Fair enough.
attempting to help me there, Dai, but I have to say, perish.
What moment?
Thank you, Max. You actually got to him before I could because I am drinking.
Well, the first time chat is so much easier to see when these fucking things show up now.
Yeah, that's true.
It's very handy.
What was I saying? Right, the titty
Good
doll.
question.
So yeah, you're a robot that can't disobey orders. I'm not really sure how that works out for you.
True.
as an OC self-insert. Now, I have seen the idea done before in an Overlord story, which I actually thought was kind of cool.
Yellowness?
Oh wait, did you link this one?
Yes, I did.
I'm sorry, you linked it in fanfiction, right?
I think so. Yeah,
Is it actually good?
Yeah, it was yellowness. Yeah.
Okay. I
Um.
need to fucking read that.
Yeah, where it's like it was actually really fucking good by an author who usually does porn. They were like, "Oh, everyone's telling me my plot stories are better than my porn. Fine, I'll write a plot story." And it's like, "Oh, this is really fucking good."
Yep.
Burned! A Ruby story! Romance! Hurt! Comfort! I'm pretty sure that's one of our,
That is Romance Hurt Comfort is one of our bingos.
Is that one of our bingos?
No, not on my card.
No, it's not actually one of
damn.
our bingos.
It should be.
It should be.
Yeah. True. Unfortunately, you didn't.
Team Ruby was sent on a search and rescue mission to find a burning and destroyed village. But they find someone that survived instead. They bring an unlikely Faunus girl.
Perish.
What the fuck does that mean?
Why the fuck can't I find this story, Sneaky?
It's because it's on Space Battles.
Yeah, but I'm just looking through links.
That's because I linked it a long fucking time ago. Here's actually the fanfiction.net link to it, and he updates them simultaneously. So
God bless that man.
yeah, so it's actually a shockingly good story. But yeah, let's read Xenon's Adventures in Ruby.
Do we have to?
Yes. Hey, Reaper One! What? I barely noticed one of my fellow pilots asks our wing commander a depressingly bland question like, "Why is sky blue?" Looking out of the red of my A-10's cockpit, I watched sand dune after sand dune roll by. They melded with the almost cloudless sky like oil on water.
It's about to airstrike a friendly British tank.
Moving my vision to my wing commander, or personally known as David, space, quote, space, pickaxe, quote, Dunstan, in his own sandy camouflage A-10. Ah yes, the sand camouflage on your A-10 to help you blend in with the desert.
The desert.
The desert.
I mean, I guess when you crash into it, yeah.
I think it might be a little bit ruined by the smoke and flames.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know how well that desert camouflage is gonna work in the sky.
Does this count as purple prose?
Yes.
It counts as
Okay,
idiot.
so that's top right.
Raking my sight across the instruments inside my own plane, I look to the
Wait.
left.
Is this SIOC?
Jesus Christ,
If
Sneaky,
so,
can you
yes.
can you decrease the point at which your mic decides you're blowing out eardrums?
I actually can't. Why, can you not hear me, or am I cutting in and out or something?
No, you're blowing out my fucking eardrums.
Just turn me down, I guess.
I just did. I keep you on like 60%.
Clearly need to drop it to 40.
Yeah, well,
Delicious.
I'm drunk, and now I'm getting excited, and I'm getting really into reading. The sun is extra... What the fuck is this sentence? Wait, what the fuck? The sun is extra blinding squinting, period.
I'm gonna take off
What?
no spag at all.
What the fuck?
Oh hey, we only need a list of powers or things. And that's bingo.
I'm sure that'll come soon, don't worry about it.
Excellent.
I
Give it a minute.
slowly rubbed my thumb over the fire button of my stick.
Thy provocations, hell child.
Oh,
Moth in the chat.
Is Motha in chat?
That's what I asked, yes.
nope.
No, we have everyone but Moth in chat.
Someone ping him.
Do it yourself.
Hell no.
I'm gonna actually post this to the SDM. I'm gonna post this quote to the SDM
Thank you very much.
with absolutely
You're
no
a bad
context.
human being.
Absolutely no context. Sneaky 2022. Just no context, posting that directly into quotes. Reaper 2! Snapping out of my thoughts. Yes, Reaper 3, I asked monotonously. Why F? Oh god, Jesus Christ. I cannot say that joke on Twitch!
Oh boy.
Probably not.
Well, okay, dubious TOS statements. That's another one for the bingo card.
Also, yeah, I don't know if I don't know what the purpose of this joke here is. I don't know what the joke part about it is. I'm just not gonna say it because I am afraid of
I'm gonna
whatever
explain
it
it for you.
means. I'm
Child bad touchy. That's the joke.
yes, okay. Yeah, that's why, yeah.
Yeah.
Couldn't go a single fucking story without child touch, can we?
Fanfiction.
Fanfiction
we got-
authors be like,
True.
trade secret I drawled. Now
think
with
the
the
worst part-
Joker. Yeah.
I was gonna say, A, the worst part is that we're no longer surprised by it, and B,
Yes.
I am consistently let down by the fact that the great stories that Sneaky finds
Yes.
are fucking trash. Or not fucking trash, fucking dead.
Hey, Yellowness isn't dead. The author is still updating on a cycle.
Yeah.
It's just a slow cycle.
Now, Elaine, everything he posts that's good.
Yeah.
is dead.
Now Birdo posts absolute dead stories. We're talking like multi-year, hasn't updated since 2017 stories.
Yeah.
I feel called out.
You should.
You should. Even I kept a faster update than you, Shadow, and that's saying something.
impressive.
Yeah, that's saying something.
We had a half a year.
Yeah, we went a whole half. We still have fans after a half a year hiatus.
That's honestly impressive.
And I'm gonna be real here for a hot second. About 4 of those months was just me being lazy. Like, Gray had finished it in the first 2 months, and I was just like, I'll do it tomorrow for the next 4 fucking months straight.
Yes.
That's a sneaky devil moment.
Yeah. I see.
And I didn't get on your ass once.
It's true. But you also didn't write future chapters either, so.
Yes.
Yes.
And why would he?
Well, because we were supposed to keep up a constant stream of different chapters to make sure that Gray
Yeah.
doesn't burn out on one single story, but
I burned out completely by focusing on something entirely different
yes.
every
Yep.
fucking month.
Yeah.
Yep.
But anyway, I'm Reaper 2, audience. I would like to introduce myself as Reaper 2 of the Reaper Wing of the A-10 Thunderbolt Strike Group stationed here in Afghanistan. My actual name, audience, is Samuel Wraith Campbell. Also, by the way, you wouldn't be called Wraith unless you missed your target. That's how
Really?
names in the military work, is they're all ironic. So if your name is called Wraith, it's because you didn't show up.
Yep.
See, Jackson Airhead Davy, that's a completely military name. That is an absolute military name. Congratulations, your name is Airhead. Either because you space out constantly, or because you're constantly just thinking about planes, and so the joke is that you are an airhead, because that's all you think about. And Reaper 3 is Jackson Airhead Davy with a drawn out ew! That's what it says. I'm just reading it as it wrote. My
Yeah, that's the
parents. What?
That's the issue.
Yeah, I know. My parents decided to be original and use an A instead of an E for the last few digits of my name.
Digits, eh?
Hmm.
Does it actually say digits?
It says digits.
It says digits. Oh my god.
For the last few digits, my parents decided to be creative with my last name.
Hmm. Hmm.
We know
So,
this.
are you telling me that no, Campbell is like a very common name up here? Like, okay, I say very common as in like I know 2 Campbells. I know 2 people named Campbell. Like, I've never seen a person named Camp Ball. I've seen more people named Camp Bell than Camp Ball.
Anyone who names their child Camp Ball is cruel.
Well, I mean, yes, obviously, but this is a last name we're talking about here. And the author is like, oh, yeah, they changed my last name on my birth certificate to not be their last name. They decided to give me a different last name than their own on my birth certificate.
That's...
Cruel.
I don't even know if you can fucking do that.
I think you can, actually. Like, because you can, like, legally change your name to literally anything. Well, barring the judge laughing you out of the court. I think when they ask for the name of the child, it's just assumed that the last name is the same as the parent's name, but you can, I think, legally ask for the child's name to be not the last name of your name. I'm not a lawyer, but I think that's possible.
So where are you guys getting the idea that the kid's last name was changed?
The author is saying it right here. My parents decided to be original and use an A in my name instead of O. Oh, he's talking
It's
about
for
Samuel.
Yeah.
He's talking about
Samuel.
Samuel. He black.
I'm gonna be honest. I would have started calling him Al.
I would have called
and
him Al as well.
He probably have accepted that because it's better than Samuel. It's like
Samuel. Yeah, I would have called him Al as well. Honestly.
I would have been like, what do you want me to call you? Because your parents are evil.
Oh, honestly, I would have, if I was in the military with him, I would have called him Big Al, and I would have made that his nickname. And he probably would have hated it, and it would be great. I honestly can't tell if the author is stupid or if they want to portray American soldiers as stupid. Possibly both. Possibly both is the correct.
You say, why not both?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
As a child, I was told my name by many it was spelled incorrectly. Honestly, I have never in my life, and I've worked multiple jobs where taking down names is part of the job. I have never in my life seen anyone correct anyone on how a name is spelled from the name taker's angle. So, like, the person writing down the name, I've never seen that person correct the person telling them their name.
Well, yeah, never.
How it's spelled. Like, oh, excuse me, sir, you're spelling your own name wrong. Like, I have literally never fucking seen that in my life. And I've seen some fucking weird-ass names. I've seen some Polish names. I've seen some weird shit in my life where I'm just like, excuse me, sir, would you like to go to the local court and buy some fucking vowels?
Yeah.
But the
I
answer
would
is
say-
no, by the way.
So Polish
Yes.
names.
Listen, even when I met someone who spelled Zachary with an E. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
mm,
Yeah.
different from how my name is spelled.
Yeah, like I have never seen someone try and correct someone else on how their name is spelled. Maybe it's just white privilege that everyone just assumes someone's name is spelled how they spell it.
That's definitely racist.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Yeah. How dare I accept that person's personal name and not enforce my interpretation of it on them?
SMH.
Self-dox on air? Nah, he already doxed himself a long time ago.
Yeah, no, we've done that
True.
before.
Couple of times.
Yeah.
Also, do you know how many Zacharys are in the area of Illinois? Good
Yeah.
luck narrowing that one down.
Like, you don't have a last name. You have a first name. You technically don't even have the spelling. Now, it's not going to be hard to guess,
Well, the
but...
spelling is not with an E.
Yeah.
I wonder.
But guess what? There are other ways to spell it than with an E as well. Like,
Yeah.
or the other letter that you would put in the place of the E.
Yeah. So yeah, it's not really a self-dox.
And listen, you know what? If you figure out who the fuck I am from knowing
That's
that
impressive.
my first name is Zachary, spelled not with an E, I won't even be. I'll be like, you know what?
That'd be
Good
impressive. Yeah.
Fucking job. Go work for like the CIA and find some real criminals. or
Yeah, go
something.
bring this to the government and be like, yo, I found this dude. Can I have a job?
And they'll either give you a
Just
job or
arrested.
kill you.
Funny story,
both.
I thought I had 3 names, blah, blah, and blah, when signing up for kindergarten. The form was shit. My dad made a mistake that was never fixed until a few years ago when I needed my birth certificate. I had no idea my first name was spelt wrong. I don't have 3 names, it's just blah and blah. That first name was my dad's name he wrote in the wrong place on the shit form. So you legitimately thought
Wow.
your name was your
That-
dad's name and then your name?
That's
I
kinda
mean,
basic.
to be fair, that is actually how they did it back then. In various areas, yeah, you would identify yourself by your father.
I mean, like,
Or if not your father's name, your father's profession.
Yeah.
yeah, like the whole Norse names with like Thor's son, for example, son of Thor.
Yeah.
Most of the last names, though.
The Brit, I believe it was the British that when they moved into the Renaissance, I believe it was, where everyone instead of being, you know, Michael the Smith, they became Michael Smith, or you know, Zachary the
1500s.
Cobbler, they became Zachary, you know, Cobblerson.
Yeah,
Yeah,
something like that. It's
about
Oh,
1500s or so.
Yeah, so yeah, Renaissance-ish era, yeah. Which I mean, there is, I love knowing etymology because there's a bunch of people named Schumacher, you know, spelled really weird
yes.
in my school, and I'm like, yeah, they were shoemakers.
Yep.
But they
German
they
shoemakers.
probably had an accent when they came over here on Ellis Island. And you know they probably like told them like, oh, I'm Davy the shoemaker, but with
or
their
you know,
accent.
the same trend happened back where they came from.
Or the same trend happened. Yeah, I know.
Like Schumacher is just German for shoemaker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean it's also like this is actually a scenario that applies to my family. As part of my family came over on Ellis Island. And by the way, you can all check off on your bingo page. Sneaky tells a personal story.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
thanks.
And 5-minute deviation.
Oh, yeah.
So this actually applies to my family. As part of my family came over on Ellis Island, and we were originally the Lanciana.
Can this go under author knows nothing about topic?
Possibly, yes.
I'm gonna take it off. I'll take that.
So we were originally, part of my family was originally the Lanciana. But when we came over, and between the accent and the Ellis Island employees' absolute disinterest in taking down our name properly, we became the Lancianos, which then part of my grandfather then changed to just Lance.
But okay, but wait. How did we then get, without saying your last name,
Yeah.
how did we then get to the last name that I know that you have now?
Oh, my mother married into my father's family.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, that would do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just so, because I'm like, hang on a minute. I know what his real name is, and that is not his real last name, unless he gave us a fake last name, which I wouldn't put past him.
It's also funny because Arn actually guessed this one when I was telling a story one time. Arn actually guessed this is on the on my dad's side of the family. My part of my family was exiled, and Arn was like, "Oh, from the Netherlands?" I'm like, "Yeah." The part of my
Yeah.
family that was named King was exiled from the Netherlands.
Yeah. To be fair, you already said that you have some Dutch in you, so it wasn't
Yes.
that hard of a guess.
Oh, I mean, yeah, but I don't really expect people to remember anything I tell them, so.
True. Understandable.
I will redact it off of these 2 minutes of ads alone. Well, I am so glad that these 2 minutes of ads are absolutely covering up all of this docs information we've been just outputting.
Yep. Very useful.
And at home, because they used my actual name, I thought they were using my middle name to differentiate me from my father. Wow, that is funny as fuck, Jin. Also very Mexican.
Isn't he British?
I think he's Wait, isn't he Mexican? I
No.
thought he was Mexican.
No,
Um,
no, he's British.
Oh,
Yeah, unfortunately.
the
Also-
absolute state of Britistan.
Yep.
He's British.
British, isn't it?
Us for the three heads were headed out to provide support to an ambushed caravan. Now you may be asking, isn't 3A10s overkill for the Taliban? Well, in normal circumstances, yes they would be, but our boys here are in a pickle.
Okay. Now I definitely know this dude knows nothing about our armed forces. There's no such thing as overkill with the U.S. military.
There is absolutely no such thing as overkill to you. So, to everyone who's not aware of military doctrine for the U.S. Marines, I love this little bit of military doctrine for the U.S. Marines. So whenever the U.S. Marines call in for support, they receive more Marines as support. And if those Marines call in for support, they receive more Marines as support. And if those Marines call in for support, you know what they receive? They receive battleship indirect fire. Of just
God bless them.
blanket the area in indirect fire, and maybe that'll solve the problem. And the best part about it is that's where the standard operating procedure ends. Send Marines, send more Marines, blanket the area in battleship fire. At that point, the problem is solved.
The problem is
I
solved, or our
shudder.
Marines are solved.
I shudder for the day in which it's like, wow, the last SOP didn't work. We have to make a new one now.
I'm just like, when my friend who's in the Marines was telling me this, I was just like, is that really the SOP? He's like, yeah. I'm like, what the fuck? Why? Just
Why not?
flatten the area until there's no longer a problem? He's like, yeah. I'm like, holy shit.
Less.
All right. That's very America for you.
About as expected.
When force didn't solve the problem, just continuously escalate the amount of force used until problem is solved.
Apply more force.
Have you used enough explosives? Asks the Iowa battleship.
No, is the answer.
So you see here, our boys are in a pickle, so Uncle Sam sent us along without a fighter escort to bail us out. without a fighter escort.
Bro. I mean, if you're fighting the fucking Taliban, then who cares?
I mean, yes, but there's standard operating procedure is a thing for a reason, and God
Yeah.
forbid the military ever deviates from it, which they do all the time, constantly, without warning. Which is why every other fucking government hates us.
True.
If the artillery is hitting our side, it's the enemy. If the artillery is hitting the enemy side, it's the Allies. If the artillery is hitting both sides, it's the Americans.
True. Friendly fire is only a suggestion.
Friendly fire is only unfriendly if they make it back.
True.
You realize that encourages you to kill them, right?
Exactly.
I'm aware of what I said.
What, do you think you're supposed to just miss?
You
Waste valuable artillery
gotta
shells?
pump up those kill counts. You know how much it costs to fire this artillery shell? If you're not killing someone with it.
Exactly.
Also, the U.S. government actually calculated the life value of a person. And it's like $74,000.
So what? That's like what, one Hellfire?
Yeah, it's like one Hellfire missile. Yeah.
Oh, sneaky. Did you know they make a Hellfire version which doesn't have explosives, but knives?
Do they really?
Yeah, hang on. Let me
No,
find it.
no, there's no way that's real.
Yeah, you know, it is. It is. Hang on.
So Uncle Sam sent us in there without some fighter escorts to bail him out. Well, we were in a rush and we didn't
And
have the
why
time to
the
scramble an
hell
escort.
would Uncle Sam ever be that flagrantly irresponsible with his incredibly important, expensive jet? Listen, I'm not saying he cares about the cost of human life. God knows our military doesn't.
There you go, sneaky.
But our military does hate wasting money in the field. In the field, let's be clear. I know they waste a phenomenal amount of money all the rest of the time.
I wasn't kidding. It's real.
Oh.
For precision strikes, crowded areas, things like that.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not sure I like the word precision strike. It sounds un-American to me.
True.
I would argue it sounds very American.
No, American precision, no.
I mean, technically, grid coordinate is a precision measure.
Hey, you know what? America does use the same measurements as everybody else. Grid coordinates. Thanks for pointing that out, Arn.
You're welcome.
What's the fucking quote that fucking the fat electrician said? When an American starts measuring in feet, everyone's gotta be aware. When an American starts measuring in metric, that's when you gotta be scared.
Yeah, I mean, you know, your military uses clicks for a reason.
We're 3 clicks out! How the fuck long is that?
3 kilometers. About 2, well, just under 2 miles. 1.9-ish.
1.6 kilometer to the mile.
Yeah,
Interesting.
so 2 miles is 3.2-ish. So yeah, about 1.85 miles.
Anyway. Alright, boys, I got my eyes on them. Prepare for danger Danger close! Bandits got them pinned! Angling my jet nose down, dropping feet by dozen, I along with my comrades open fire. Peppering the white truck, I pull up, bank left, A10 screaming. Looking at the battlefield as I leveled out, the hostiles...
Peppering a white truck, you're in a fucking... This makes no sense.
What do you mean?
I mean, he did say he was fighting the Taliban.
Yeah, he was fighting the Taliban.
My point...
Before Joe Biden gave them, like, $90 billion worth of equipment or something. 40
Hey,
billion?
hang on a minute. Joe
400?
Biden didn't give it to them. Let's be clear. The Iranians gave it to them.
Not personally. Someone had to leave it there.
That is correct. And it was a bunch of ungrateful, non-existent soldiers who exist only because of graft and vice.
True.
Joe Biden, wake up!
Wake up. Wake up, Joe Biden.
I mean, come on. We all know that.
Calls,
We all know that Joe Biden having
Biden,
COVID is an excuse
wake
for them
up.
to retune his animatronic body, Sneaky.
No, I thought that was the cancer.
No. You see, he's secretly a Springtrap animatronic.
Oh god.
What do you mean secretly?
Yeah. I'm confused about this part as well.
He's about to commit the bite of 87.
The
The
bite
sniff
of
of 22.
87!
It's not the bite of 87, it's the sniff of 22.
The great sniff of 22.
Or children.
I don't want to know what you're sniffing.
Joe Biden is sniffing
Well,
children's hair.
unfortunately, Joe Biden has lost his sense of smell, and he will sniff children no longer.
Oh yeah, that's why... Wait. That's why they gave him COVID. Genius.
To stop him from sniffing children.
Exactly.
I believe it.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't surprise me.
Pulling up, I gradually started to orbit the area, watching 1, period, and 3, period, finish off last vehicle, period. Nice job, guys, period. HQ, need us anywhere else? No, you would always land immediately after, because you don't get sent out with that much fuel. I questioned. No! I do! Radio traffic from Air Command, cut! My wing lead off. Beware hostile aircraft closing fast! Reaper wing RTB to base! Did you really just say return to base to base?
The old ATM machine.
Eh? What? ATMs?
Really?
Wake up.
Rest in peace. It's like, rip in peace, my dude! Rip in peace!
Least retarded fanfiction author.
Most retarded.
Oh, by the way, the thing that I was confused about was they took an A10 down, shot at a truck, and the truck somehow lived.
True.
Sneaky. Assuming they were even moderately close to on target, that truck is gone.
I mean,
it's the
yeah. I mean, pepper. Yeah, I mean, it's an odd word choice, peppering the white truck with an A10 Warthog. You don't really pepper anything with an A10 Warthog.
The A10 Warthog does not pepper. It either misses or removes a target.
Both. Depending.
Yeah, more or less both, yeah. It removes the area
yes.
around the target as well.
I think Undertale is right though, the pilot has brain damage.
The pilot has brain yes.
The
we
pilot
figured...
is actually Joe Biden.
Joe Biden!
He's asleep.
Wake up!
Wake up, Joe Biden.
Hyperborea calls!
I love that fucking video.
It's good. Roger! How many? I asked one. 5 standard fighter wing, do not engage! Feeling a chill run down my spine. We don't have a choice, Command! Unidentified fighters are blazing in! Shit, I snarled out, banking right. The bullets passed harmlessly past my belly. We don't have the jets for this! I screamed out 3. My A-10 shuddered at the rough rolling I was forcing the plane to endure. Okay, first off, an A-10 lost both of its wings, both of its back fins, and its front gun, and still managed to land. Because that is how they designed the plane.
Yeah. It's a garbage plane, but at least it can take a hit. Question mark.
So don't sit here and be like, my A-10's rattling! Because it fucking ain't.
Yeah.
I mean, no.
The only thing that's rattling is your peanut brain.
True. It's probably like the least accurate modern air combat scenario I've read in a while. You wanna know how this would really go?
How?
Like, command calls in, oh, we got fighter wing on the radar. And the A-10 goes, oh shit, and then they all died to fucking beyond visual range missiles.
Oh, yeah, there's that, yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Wait, the
45
A-10
turns
dies, or the,
Yeah,
or the
the
Su-35s die, because they're Su-35s?
The A-10 doesn't have long-range missiles.
I know, but they're still Su-35s. I mean, do they have fucking
Yeah.
long-range missiles?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well.
That's like the main fucking...
Oh, you know,
air-to-air
hey, look, man, I'm not that big on air combat, you know, I only
Yeah.
know a little bit.
True. But yeah, you would have maybe a few seconds of, oh shit, enemies, and then you die.
Yeah. Well,
Because the
I
A-10
mean,
is
maybe you don't
garbage.
die, but your A-10's definitely going down.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if the Taliban finds you, you're probably dead.
Oh,
If
I mean,
they don't
yeah,
find
but
you and you're in the middle of the desert.
but you just went down next to a friendly convoy, so I mean, they could probably just pick you
Oh
up.
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
True. Unless the A-10 hit them instead, which is well.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I mean,
let's just say that's happened more than a few times.
Oh, I believe it, yeah. Because the identified MiG-35 had better maneuverability than more clunky A-10, the enemy fighter's oriented frame easily kept pace with my A-10. I feel like someone learned all of this from, like, playing, like, World of Planes or something.
Yeah, some fucking Ace Combat shit.
Yeah,
going
so
on
this
there.
is some, like, World of Planes, Ace Combat tier understanding of planes, yeah.
Yeah.
Groaning under my mask, I stalled out my engines to rapidly lose speed in quick succession. I pulled the air brakes and the MiG had to dodge my plane. The pilot screamed his plane over my tail and right above my nose, and then I blasted him to pieces. What the fuck is this Top Gun level shit?
Bruh. Wait, does the A-10 actually have any confirmed air-to-air gun kills?
Does it?
Sure, there's one.
Maybe.
I'm gonna check. Let's see. Okay, yeah. Well, okay. They have 2. Both of which were fucking Iraqi helicopters. So yeah.
Yeah.
No.
They still air to air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Technically,
Technically, but I mean, like, look, in the same war in fucking 91 Desert Storm, an F-15 killed an exactly identical helicopter by dropping a fucking bomb on it. Midair.
on purpose, or
On purpose, intentionally. Hit it with a fucking guided bomb. Bam. Right in the face.
see,
So I
that's
don't
the
think
part
the
that matters.
A-10's
Because like,
gun kills.
if they were just doing
Well,
like,
look, when it comes to airplanes, especially jets, helicopters are basically stationary targets.
Yep. More or less. Well, actually, I mean, like, the Apache can go up to, like, about half the A-10's top speed, which is kind of funny.
I mean, yeah, but Not exactly. You're not gonna be doing barrel rolls with an Apache.
No, of course not. But still, I mean, I would rather be an Apache than an A10, honestly.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
My plane felt my anger as I glared holes in the MiG chasing
What?
Reaper 3. What?
The plane what?
Felt my anger!
Ah, yes. I wasn't aware that, silly me, I forgot we were dealing with, plane girls?
Oh god.
I beat my plane wife.
Based.
Alright, A, you're terrible. B, I'm sure those exist. Arn, I expect you to find some tasteful images to
yeah.
provide the server with.
I know about. Well, there's one gotcha game project in the works.
Fucking course, he
I
already
also know-
knows several images.
Oh yeah, I have a bunch actually. I have an artist who does a lot of playing girls. Hang on.
I'm not even surprised.
Hang on. I'll just drop that in weeb garbage, I guess. Technically. There you go. There's a lot of very nice pictures on there. Including some Gura, Sneaky.
What?
Person
Oh.
LinkedIn weeb has Guru.
Of course.
Oh, hey, yeah, I see the hangar Atomicos.
Yep.
Cool. Based. Late
Game.
gaming.
Well, that's surprisingly tasteful.
Yep.
Yeah, there are a bunch of kids' animations that have sentient planes similar to Thomas the Tank Engine, including their faces. Yeah, I think we've seen those before.
The less we talk about Thomas the Murder Engine, the better.
Remember the tugboat, Sneaky?
The fucking Canadian tugs, yeah.
Yeah.
That fucking show, the Canadian
that-
tugs crossover with Azure Lane or whatever.
No, it wasn't Azure Lane.
Was it Cancol? It was either Cancol or Azure Lane.
I'm not sure what it was, honestly. I can't remember, but it was something. I think it was something very stupid. That's for sure.
No, it was Cancol because we went to the Cancol section and the author was talking about all of these like characters that we've never heard of or seen before, and we looked up their
Oh,
names,
yeah.
and they were from the
Yeah.
Tugs TV show.
Yeah, it was Off Tugs and Warships.
Yeah.
Fucking brain myself.
That's why I drank, so I don't remember any of this.
I have not been drinking enough.
That's your problem.
I'm about to fix that.
His frantic rolling and banking, left engine clearly smoking, pushing throttle forward till I couldn't hold no longer in a bid to catch up. Three's frantic labor breathing spilled across the comms. Hold on, airhead, I'm coming. I'm coming, airhead! Pushing more fuel into my turbines, my A-10
That is
flew
how
after
that-
3.
Oh. The A10 doesn't have an afterburner.
The A-10 does have an afterburner now.
No. Well, maybe once you fucking shoot it down and it starts burning on the ground, yeah.
I mean,
Listen, I would love to see an A10 with an afterburner. That would be hilariously retarded.
Yeah.
I didn't notice the fireball that was pickaxe A10 slamming in the desert below. Lining my A10 behind the MiG in a frantic mind, I harshly pressed the fire button, not releasing my blunder until the deed was done as 3A10 took heavy rounds straight to the tail as the Russian marked MiG danced down and away from the bullets meant for it. My heart dropped as the friendly fire wasn't so friendly. As Airhead screaming as he went down the air resistance, tearing the warplane apart. That's not... No. Again, we already talked about this earlier. The A-10's a fucking literal tank on wings.
Yeah, and it's not very good at it.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Yeah, it's better than any other plane at surviving.
Oh, it's great at surviving. Compared to
Mm,
other planes.
I mean, modern planes, maybe. But I don't think an A-10 can take as much damage as like a fucking B-52, for example. Just by sheer size alone.
Well, yeah, but that's like saying like, a Stuart can't take as much damage as a Tiger. It's like, well, no shit.
Yeah. It's still true. I'm not wrong.
4 is bigger than 5.
Yes. Anyway, point is, A-10 is garbage. Big gun go burrito.
Can someone clip the fact that Arn just said 4 was bigger than 5?
Wait. Did I? Hang on.
Yeah, you did, bro.
Oh, well, that's great. I'm drinking more.
I can drink to that.
I can drink to that.
Mm.
Or, I would if I could drink anymore.
Anyways, so blah blah blah, they all fucking die and the author's retarded and then the author wakes up and he hears a female voice and he has colored hair and it's longer than normal.
No! I've become a protagonist!
No,
That
I
cares. It
become
sounds out of problems.
Tumblr feminist.
And then he hears his voice and he realizes he is now female.
The worst kind of punishment.
Gasping, I fumble for my stick.
That's it. I'm getting mistake.
That's it, I'm getting me A10.
Sneaky! Fetch the ICBM.
Dude. My vision cleared. My A10's pulling up. I let out a feminine squeak. Wait, so the dude dies in his A10, and then proceeds to get isekai'd into Ruby as Xenon, still in the A10, crashing. What?
Makes sense to me!
Hmm.
I see no problems here. None at all.
I am startled by my non-man voice. My brain stalled out. Gasping, I fumbled for my stick, almost sending myself rolling. Between my erratic breathing and pitiful whimpering, I managed to set the plane straight and put it onto autopilot as I shook. What? What?
What does that mean? Joe
Biden, wake up.
Yo, Biden. Wake up. Yo, Biden.
He's an American Air Force warrior. I'd be surprised if they were against him being trans. That's true. The Air Force is very trans friendly.
Air Force.
Yeah, I actually, at a previous job, someone was like, "Oh, I'm Air Force," and I was like, "Oh, what'd you do? Sit in a chair the whole time?" And she laughed. Everyone else was confused. I'm like, "Don't worry about it. It's a, it's a military joke."
Yeah.
A10 is listing, blah blah blah. I was shocked. I was a ragged looking girl with blue. What the fuck is... What the fuck? I got the next shock of my life, period. Staring back at me was, period.
Yes, the period would be a shock, yeah.
A ragged-looking girl, comma, blue, period. What? I think this author might be more drunk than we are.
Yeah, I fucking hope so. Otherwise, well...
No, cyan hair matted to her cheeks, eyes red and dilated in fear, clearly Japanese with sea green blue eyes. I paused at her appearance. I knew who she was! This is Ceylon! Wow, leave it to Chair Force to be a bunch of fucking weebs.
Sneaky, have you seen what they paint on their fucking planes?
Stoffel?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm aware.
They're horrid people.
I'm aware. Chair Force is truly despicable.
I mean, tankers, though.
No, Chair Force is worse.
Sure.
Okay,
is worse.
at least the tankers paint like
I mean,
normal
but-
things.
the tank is literally just a basement on wheels. I don't know what you're on about.
Well, see, the reason why I'm
Well,
not
treads.
surprised by tankers being massive weebs is the fact that it is, in fact, a basement on treads.
True.
So it's like, expecting them to be not weebs is actually the exception to the rule.
Fair enough.
And he's like, oh, what the fuck, I'm a girl? Just like, you're just casually sitting in this cockpit with your A10, like, bleeding speed and altitude, and you're like, feeling up yourself, you're like, I got boobs now! I got girl voice! Her arms were glowing with protective energy. Blinking owlishly at my flight suit, it seemed like blue energy was flowing across our body. Fuck! My tailbone throbbed in pain. What? Wincing,
Why
I
is your tailbone
shifted
throbbing,
to
sir?
relieve the pain. Feeling something slither up my hip, I shuddered. I sat, making sure not to hit the stick or the red button. I need to land. I'm low on fuel. Red is full. Yeah, I'm definitely low on fuel. Nope. Still reads capital full with an F. I highly doubt that. They don't fill those planes to full when you fucking head out on a fucking
Also,
fire mission.
if you've just been in the middle of combat, that is decidedly not full.
Yeah, hyper unfull.
Yeah.
Especially if you're somehow fucking dogfighting.
Okay, so Underplayed actually brings up a very creative idea of how to do this. Is the dude, as he's like, his plane gets hit by a missile, but then he transports to another world, and then his plane crashes, and he gets out, and he's like, "What the fuck? I'm a girl now," or whatever. And then he looks at his plane and sees a picture of himself on the plane instead of the girl he turned into, that he originally had on the plane.
Heck.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that's like a little bit of a cool little like, oh, ooh woo thing. It's like, all right, fair enough, fine. That's cool. I like that. Yeah, so you 100% wouldn't be full. I push it forward, expecting the needle to take a sharp dip to signal I'm draining fuel. Yup, that's it. I'm joining this, gesturing my body on the shelf of forget about it. What? And then I climbed higher, and I passed 4,000 feet, and then I climbed higher, and then I put on my flight helmet. My eyes started drooping, the adrenaline usage catching up with me, and then I fell asleep. Flying my A-10?
Bruh.
At that point, the author just takes his A-10 as high as possible and then proceeds to do an Al-Qaeda. Fuck being a woman. Time to get isekai'd again.
Can I reroll my isekai?
Hey, DM, I rolled for stats, and I didn't get anything above a 12. Can I re-roll?
So literally the dude falls asleep flying his A10, and then he wakes up to the sound of cawing.
How the fuck do you fall asleep flying an A10, bro?
Because he does. Don't.
Blood loss, I guess.
Yeah, bloodlust. And then he gets attacked by
Bloodlust.
Nevermore, and he's like, "Oh fuck! Oh shit! Oh fuck! Shit! Whirl!" And he's like a big
Yeah,
bitch. I mean,
Ruby
to be fair
crossover.
though, he is Air Force, so him being a massive bitch is just like to
True.
be expected. Oh shit! People are actually shooting at me. I'm in danger now. Wouldn't the proper term be passed out? It would be, but he fell asleep. In this, he fell asleep. He didn't pass out. No, he's too manly to pass out. He fell asleep. He was too tired. You see?
I was too tired from all the violence.
Yes. The violence tired him out. The bird couldn't keep up with his jet. And then I lined up the bird with the nose, and I bird.
That's... You will literally never be able to get a correct angle on a bird with a jet.
Yeah, but the bird was hovering while chasing the jet.
Oh, Sneaky! I didn't know the bird was from the fucking Astra Militarum and it was a goddamn Valkyrie!
Well, you should have. That's just your fault, Atin. You should have known better.
Yeah.
See, we were supposed to be speedrunning this, but we just got stuck up on this author just being so fucking beyond retarded over the A10. So
Yeah.
now I'm Xenon from Sal, but I didn't capitalize anything from Sal. But I'm also in Ruby, and I didn't capitalize anything in Ruby. I let out a non-feminine snort. Of course it has to be Ruby. I also didn't capitalize that. I open my mouth to hateful rant. I wonder what Fugly will have to say about another worlder. Quite interesting, Tyrian. Bring them to me. Wait, are you calling Salem ugly? Bruh?
It's a bold move, Cotton!
What is your fucking tastes? Wait,
I
Sneaky.
mean, hang on. I can
I
understand
don't want an
not
answer to
being
that,
into
Sneaky.
the small titty goth girl.
I mean, I'm just saying, fucking Salem ain't ugly.
Like I'm saying, I can understand someone not being into her and trying to insult her. I just don't think it's a good plan, bro.
It's like writing a StarCraft story and being like Sarah Kerrigan wasn't hot. It's like fucking excuse me. You want to try again? The end of StarCraft 2. Oh god, you can tell the end of StarCraft 2 was written by a writer with a fetish.
No idea what could you possibly mean, Sneaky?
Yeah, I can't imagine. I can't imagine what we're giving away on that one. Ha ha ha, I was mocking her, ha ha ha, I wonder where I am in the timeline. I have an A10 that doesn't run out of fuel, because it's permanently at fuel. Where am I? Nothing but forest. How old am I? Putting my hand on my thigh. Wait! Wait! Whoa! Whoa, author! I don't know how they do it in your country, but we don't tell women their age by whatever's up their thigh.
Ah.
I don't like that.
Jin says Sarah Kerrigan is hot. The Queen of Blades is arousing. Thank you. Blah blah blah. I run my hand up my thigh, and then I grab my handgun, and I look at my handgun, and I'm like, this handgun
It's made of handgun.
is made of handgun, and I shrug, and I put my handgun back on my thigh, and then I do lazy barrel rolls. What?
What is this person smoking?
I don't understand.
What?
One shot, Jesus Christ.
Nearing what looks like Vale, I flew higher, filling my breast pocket under the flight suit. She starts feeling up her breast pocket, and she pulls her
the
zipper
pocket,
down.
Sneaky.
Yeah, and she pulls her zipper down, and she pulls out a single-lensed binocular. Yes, the
A telescope, indeed.
the fabled single.
Offer.
The fabled single lens binocular. Yeah.
Offer, are you high?
I
Holy
hope so.
shit. Entering into a standard orbit, I began playing I Spy. Okay,
Standard
I
orbit?
Spy
What?
unfucked beacon tower. What do you
Motherfucker
spy,
with orbital
Airhead?
in a 810.
Yeah, dude's casually buzzing a fucking country with an A10. Removing the binocular, I was like, hey asshole, what gives? Why aren't you responding? Pickaxe, why is no one responding to me? I wish I
You
was
just entered the
joking about.
quantum realm.
I wish I was joking about this dialogue.
Yeah. Same. I also wish you were joking.
I think we all do.
Yeah.
God, this fucking dialogue. My angered scream mixed with A10 turbines turned into a furious howl. Yeah, that's what that was.
Yeah, I see no problems here.
Slamming my petite fist on my own leg brought another snarl across my face. Damn Russians!
True. It's always the Russians' fault.
Ah, yes. Those damn Russians.
It was the Russians! They did this!
True. Wake up.
Wake up, Russia. Wake up.
Vladimir Putin. Wake up.
I think they're pretty awake already, Sneaky, given the amount of artillery they're firing.
True.
Apparently, if the U.S. intelligence can be believed, which I don't know if it can be, Russia has used so many missiles, they're now repurposing anti-aircraft missiles to continue their Imperial Guard stratagem.
Yep.
Sure, we just fucking, okay.
I mean, Russia's literally doing like AliExpress warfare.
Senine, blah blah blah, girlish sobs, orbited veil, I Spy, veil, fuck me, I could eat a bear. Don't eat bear. Bear tastes like shit.
True.
I started looking for a place to land. Nada. Cutting myself off. Fuck. These shithead fuck nut. No runways anywhere. Well, except for that walkway over there. Why is it as large as a runway? I'm gonna land on it. Bruh. I did the math. I could land on Beacon's courtyard. Oh, I'm so landing on Beacon's courtyard.
You cannot! You are not a VTOL!
And then they landed on the Beacon courtyard.
I mean, you can sure land vertically. Just not
It's
a very
like
good
my
landing.
kind of landing, Remy.
Exactly. It's the high impact, intense landing.
And then Glinda Goodwitch shrilly asks, "Who are you? You can't land that thing here!" Jumping
These
down from the
people,
cockpit, I
it's the
looked up at
military.
her, and I was like, "Yo, I'm hungry, bitch! Been fighting Grim for days! Holy shit!" I wasn't being polite. I wish I was joking about the dialogue, by the way. This is real dialogue written by a real person.
Regrettably.
Literacy for the common fault was a fucking mistake.
Flipping her off for good measure, I'm like, "Yo, where the strong shit at, homie?" Unzipping my flight suit down to my waist, I pulled a half-crushed box of cigarettes out of my other pocket, lighting
Unzip
one
your
up
dick.
to piss her off even more. I checked on my progress as Glinda looked about to blow a fuse.
I bet this guy just watched Top Gun once. I thought that was how air combat works.
I
I'm
mean,
just like,
also the
their
fact that
force of
they
heart.
literally just unzipped their flight suit down to their panties.
Yeah. Interesting. Giving the good bitch a show, eh?
Giving Glinda Good Bitch a show. Yeah.
Fair enough.
And then Ozpin shows up, he's like, "Yo, Glinda, why don't you get our guest a plate?" And I go, "She's a maid? Yo." "I'm Shino, but feel free to call me Wraith or Sinon." I gave her a look over. Yup, still the same old Ozzy. What the fuck is this? Yo, Ozzy, my man!
I see no problems here.
Bruh.
"And you are?" Headmaster Ozpin, taking his hand. "Nice to meet you," I blandly stated. He didn't look bothered by my dead tone nor the smoke in my mouth. "And where did you acquire such a vehicle?" I shrugged. "Built her," I mumbled. Noticing a familiar crow, I thought spies were frowned upon. Seeing my pointed look, I saw his eyes widen a fraction. That's when I knew I made a mistake. But I buried the spike of fear via nearly laughing at his expression. Within seconds of the words leaving my lips, I heard the whir of gears and managed to duck in time for a scythe to take my head off. Stumbling forward, "Whoa there, dude, take me out to dinner first." Grinning like an imp at Crow's serious look, putting my hands in a placating gesture. "I'm not hostile. Hands up, don't shoot, Crow! Hands up, don't shoot!" Crow proceeds to shoot.
Hmm. Oh shit, based.
So anyway, he does backflips to get out of the shotgun blast that Crow shoots her with. And then she pulls her pistol out in a flash and plugs him with 2 rounds, which he he swipes aside with his scythe. Okay.
Bruh.
Listen. I know Crow is a bit of a drunk and a loose cannon. I don't recall him just immediately deciding this person has discovered my secret, therefore I must end their life.
Yeah, well, you know how it is. You see someone, you gotta kill them.
True.
So then they take a knee in prayer for George Floyd.
I can't breathe.
I'm not even kidding. They take a knee. And they shoot Crow 3 more times with their gun. And Crow bats them all away. And I was like, "Oh shit!" I forgot he was the old wizard. My eyes widened when I felt something dig into my middle and I was sent flying. Cyan tail floating in my vision. Rake his scythe across my face, sending me on my back. Okay, first off, unless your aura was automatically unlocked, that scythe would have taken your face off. And then she shouts, "I'm not hostile." And then Crow looks at Ozpin.
You've already shot the man!
Well, Crow shot her first, so.
Self-defense be like.
So Crow looks at Ozpin, and Ozpin's like, "Yeah, don't kill her." And he's like, "Oh, okay." And so they stop trying to kill her. And
I would appreciate
she's
it
like,
if Ozpin
well,
went, don't kill her yet.
yeah. And she's like, "Well, now that you're done trying to kill me, I'm Shino." And he's like, "Well, yeah, I'm Crow." And then he takes a drink from his flask, because that's what Crow does. So, I'm not going to read this story. But I did want to read
Thank God.
the summary. Because of how bad it is. So this is
Oh,
Ruby
boy.
for Honor.
Oh God, no.
No.
A warden's dark past. There was once a boy who in end had nothing left after events tragically changing original timeline. It led one John Arc to land of Ashfeld where his new destiny await Warden who end Apollyon reign. Yet Warden past would ultimately come to get him. V2 from Wattpad story. I hope it's improved quality.
Doubt it.
I really doubt it. Yeah, and the author just proceeds to use chapter 1 to blitz through a bunch of lore. And here's another one I wanted to read. Not the story of, but just I just want you guys to all acknowledge it. Wanted you
Go on.
guys to all acknowledge its existence. There
I
we
feel
go.
like that picture is accurate to my mental state currently.
Yes, this is the active state your brain has to be in to understand this story. This is a Ruby Five Nights at Freddy's crossover called Spring Trapped in a New World. Afton was an evil man.
Perish.
He knew that. He came back. He always did, but this time a goddamn tentacled spaghetti bear fucked him over. Then this woman, strange woman, with message from his old pal Henry show up and give him chance for redemption. Now where was he? Why is Moon broke? And why was he stuck with Fangirl? Adventure
haunted.
humor story featuring Team Ranger, Springtrap, Molten Freddy, and Vanny. Fittingly, there is 2 chapters, 1,000 words per chapter, 2 reviews, 2 favorites, and 5 follows.
Amazing.
Yes. Oh wow. Why are these the reviews? This story has potential. However, I wished the fights weren't just paragraphs. And I wished they were actually fights. The grammar is good. The first chapter made it a point to separate the characters in their dialogue. Wow! Is that really the bar we have achieved?
Amazing.
It just seems so.
The grammar's good. You managed to make it so characters talked in separate paragraphs. Is that really the bar we're gonna hold? Oh boy.
Pain.
I'm
Okay. Alright. I just want a good Persona Ruby story. Seems like the synergy is good, bro. Do you really want to see Persona Ruby stories? Because I'll show you Persona Ruby stories, and you
Listen, you don't want to go there because guess what? There are. Oh god, they're making real life Persona and Shin Megami Tensei, and oh my god, it's gonna be a fucking disaster.
Oh, that's right. They are, aren't they? They also are doing a live action One Piece. I think it was.
Okay, but One Piece is already shit, so
Fair. Ahoy hoy! I adopted this story from another author!
Oh no.
get one last bingo in there, boys.
From one of the reviewers.
Why?
Literally reviewed the guy who adopted, bruh.
Bro, you have 2 fucking chapters of 2,000 words. How the fuck are you gonna sit here and be like, yo, I adopted this story? It's like, bruh. You can't adopt what wasn't fucking born.
Hmm.
Oh, God. I just...
Yeah.
My brain can't even comprehend the swag on this story. Alright, fine.
Feels like my brain is leaking out of my ears, to be honest.
My brain is actually leaking out of my ears. Alright, so Ruby, crossover section. For Persona series, filters, all English. The road less taken. 3 fools with 3 timelines, 1 not cat. Join our favorite leads as they forge new bonds while going about their daily lives, now in the world of Remnant. So everyone mark the fusion story. Fusion. Persona Ruby fusion story, gentlemen. 3 timeline Persona Ruby fusion story. That's right. Yeah, this story has 3 separate timelines of ongoing plot in it. Tasty. This story will be randomly updated.
Oh god. Roll the dice every day. Today's an update day. If the
Ruby
dice
Phantom Thieves Metaverse Adventure. This is just something I wanted to put out there because it has been on my mind for a while. I need to write it down to remove the Fusion Persona 5 Ruby Brainwat. This story is nothing serious, it's just one-shots to remove the brain rot. Team Smithereen. Join the Mascona Furkids. I can't read words anymore. I'm
You're done.
I'm sorry. What the fuck is this? What the fuck is that?
I don't want to know.
What are these words?
they are the sacred words of bullshit.
Beacon is a prestigious Persona Academy. What friends will they make there? Will they save the world? 1 chapter, 200 words. Wow, that was a good chapter. Whoops,
Amazing.
Silly me, Torchwick ooh-woos after he laments the loss of his cane.
Perish in the
Beast.
eternal flame.
Not so fast, Satsuna says, flying down to John. What the? Question mark, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. John says, bewildered at Satsuna's inhuman appearance. 1. explain later. We have to go! Exclamation point! Exclamation point! Exclamation point! Exclamation point! Setsuna says proudly. What?
What?
What? What are you talking about? John is knocked out by mysterious force. John! Setsuna is knocked out by mysterious force. Grrr! Setsuna barks angrily at thieves. She knows Memphis' parents are thieves, but this too much. Take this. Setsuna manipulates multiple chains as they bind henchmen up, taking them down. Hee 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 hee. Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. Malicious thief like you guys should just be buried. What the fuck? Memphis would thank me for making that distinction, Setsuna says before seeing window break. Why is
Sneaky.
everyone shouting in multiple exclamation points?
Upon further consideration, I have decided to convert to Islam.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Sneaky triggers
Yeah.
an ad break so he can now shout racial epithets. Yeah, that's what I actually did that on purpose, you see?
Yep. Clan.
So,
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, but
anyway, ladies and gentlemen. That is all
So
for
it's over.
tonight.
Thank God.
Is
Sigmar be
9 o'clock.
praised.
We
are
are
free.
outie. And we'll see you next time, because there's always more and it always gets worse.